We're recording now.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. See, there's little numbers over here that say we're recording.
Oh, I was
Right
looking
there.
down below.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's all this newfangled stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got to say this in the monitor. You look quite smashing today.
Well, thank you.
Well, hey, I'm a very fortunate dude, and I know that.
Just remember that.
Just remember that? I always remember that. If I don't, well, anyway, I remember that. We're going to talk about a few more tweaks we've done on the design. We're getting closer and closer to the time that we'll be able to pick up our new trailer that's being built, which means we're getting closer
Maybe
and closer.
about 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
We're hoping so, yeah. Could be, 3 to 4 weeks. They told me it should be ready somewhere in that ballpark. And of course, we're getting closer to the time when the new owners take possession of this one.
Yes.
That we're in.
And yes, we will be sad.
We will be.
I will be.
Yeah. Well,
this is my baby.
I'm concentrating on all the things I still have yet to do on the new one. But what we thought we would do is talk about, we had one of our followers, well, we had 2 or 3 followers that reached out to us because we had mentioned once about doing
a SketchUp.
A SketchUp.
A 3D design.
Or a 3D design, CAD drawing, whatever you want to call it.
And I tried, but I wasn't
But
working.
anyway, this one particular follower, he from the last video that we uploaded about the design of our new trailer, which was just a blueprint, a basic blueprint that I drew up.
Right.
He was able to take that and give us a pretty decent rendering after a couple of tweaks. And what we're getting ready to show you, we need to stress this right now. This is not exactly the way it will be. So, and there will be some tweaks, and we already know what some of these tweaks will be, but we just want to admonish everyone right out of the chute before everybody starts telling us we shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that, or we should do this and should do that. We're not done with the tweaks, and a lot of these tweaks will take place actually during the construction of the interior.
Because until you lay a tape measure on it, an actual tape measure,
Right.
You don't know.
Right,
For
exactly.
Sure. Not within the 1 inch.
No, and,
or the 1/4 inch.
And you've got to be able to see it. You've got in front of you. But the rendering that we have here has helped us a whole bunch.
It's very close to our dream,
yes,
anyway. So at this point in time.
So what do you say we pop this up on the screen right now? What do you think?
Sounds great.
All right, let's pop it up. And here we go. All right. First off, let's reiterate the size of the trailer, because we've had a lot of people ask us, several times, what the size of the trailer is, and it's going to be an 8.5 by 20. And
it's 7.5 tall.
We're going with an extra height that's going to be, interior height will be 7 feet and 6 inches, interior height. This is a cutaway. Of course, they've got the passenger side cutaway, so you can see inside. And of course, there will be things on the wall that is not showing there that will be there, like at the very foot of the bed on the opposite wall. That is not shown. There will be a TV right there at the very foot of the bed, and we'll be mounting it as tight to the wall as possible. That's what I should say.
Yes.
As tight to the wall as possible, of course. But let's go ahead and start back in the very back. Let's begin at the very, very back. And if you remember, remind you again, we said that we were getting this an extra 6 inches high. Well, if you look there at where the vanity is, the sink vanity in the bathroom, then you look on the floor and you look just beyond that, you will see a riser right there. The floor from that point on over through the shower will be raised 6 inches right there. So the potty will be setting 6 inches up. There will be a small step up there, and there's a reason for it, and we're getting into that here in just a little bit. And then, of course, you see the shower pan. Also, what you see there is one curtain that's coming across the end of that partition wall. And there will actually be 2 curtains. That curtain is going to be for privacy, but then there will also be a shower curtain at the shower itself.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. So that kind of goes without saying. But now let's talk more about the reason why the floor is raised there. Well, if you all remember, we did a walkthrough on Marvin and Mary's, and we'll post a link to that particular video as well. Marvin and Mary built a 8.5 by 24, and he has onboard freshwater tanks, and he has onboard gray water tank as well. And both of those are mounted inside the trailer. They're not hung down below the trailer because, folks, these trailers sit very, very low to the ground. Ours, however, will be on straight axles, so we will have an extra 4 inches of clearance, but it's still low enough that I couldn't find the right size tanks that I wanted, so I'm not going to mount them under. They're going to be mounted inside the trailer, and they're going to be mounted under the bed. But we're going to talk about that more in here in just a little bit. But back to the reason why the floor is raised. What Marvin used on his, in order to get the gray water from the shower over to his gray water tank, he utilized a sump pump system that they use in boats, sailboats, things like that. He used to own a sailboat. And this particular little sump pump system is really cool, and the one we're going to go with is made by a company called Rule, R-U-L-E. I'm posting a photo of it right now so you can see it. But this particular system is really neat. You drain into this little box, and it has a float switch in there with a pump. The float switch, when it kicks on, the pump kicks on, of course, and then it pumps the gray water up over into your tank. So we wanted to have that inside the trailer as well, for obvious reasons. You know, for more than just the clearance. If we hung it underneath, we also wanted to have it inside as far as heating and cooling is concerned, you know. So it will be mounted in the floor underneath the raised floor. It will be mounted underneath the raised floor, just right in front of the potty, and there will be an excess panel there that I can lift up to get to it to service it right there. So that's where that pump will be mounted.
Well, it's my understanding you have to clean the screen once in a while.
Right. We'll be able to make it fit right there. You see also, while we're still in the bathroom, let's stay in the bathroom for a little bit, and then you see the vanity sink there, and then you see a tower where we like to use those little cubes. And Debs decorating this time is going to go with a basic white color throughout the trailer and accent in red on the inside. And we like to use them little storage cubes, and they're available in red.
Yes.
And the follower that helped us with this rendering, he went ahead and, you know, added the color to it. Yeah, which is really neat. It makes it really nice. So now let's move on over to the bed. And here again, just like the bed was a huge topic of discussion on our original build, the bed is becoming a huge topic of discussion on this build as well. And the bed, of course, you can see where it's going to be. And yes, there are steps on either side of the bed, and there are reasons for that. But let's first talk about the bed frame itself in between those steps. The bed frame itself will be 20 inches tall. That's before you put the mattress on top. The bed frame itself will be 20 inches tall. And the reason why it will be 20 inches tall is because my storage tanks, my gray water and my freshwater tank, which will each have a capacity of 55 gallons each, are roughly about 17.5 inches tall. So I need enough room in there for everything to drain properly to drain into them, so I've got to have that space. So the bed frame itself will be around 20 inches tall. Now, here again, that is not set in stone. It may be 2 inches shorter than that. It all depends, but I'll be looking at my tanks when I start building the bed frame, and that will help me determine exactly how tall it's going to be. But the maximum height will be 20 inches. The minimum will be roughly 18, but it's going to fall somewhere in that ballpark. Okay. Now you see on either side of the bed, you'll see a nightstand. We incorporated a built-in nightstand on either side. On one side, which will be the side closest to the bathroom, that's probably underneath that nightstand. There won't be any drawers or anything in there or anything, because that is probably where the water heater will be mounted, is in there. And here again, that is not totally set in stone. I may find a better place to mount it later, but with all the dimensions and everything that I'm figuring in my head, it appears that it's going to work right there, and it'll be real close to the shower, real close to the freshwater tank, everything right there. Then, of course, there will be a space between the nightstand and where the closets begin. And those are the closets you see that are going on up on above the nightstand on either side. And then, of course, you see where we're going to have some storage across the top.
Now, I don't have a window above the bed.
Right.
Because I'm going to paint a mural.
Okay, right.
So that's a good place for a painting. Plus, we don't want a window there because curtains and pillows do not mix.
Yeah, we put a window above the headboard in the trailer we're in right now, and what we discovered after we put the window in and we had the bed all set up and everything, that a curtain wasn't going to work there at all because we would be snagging it all the time and pulling it down. So we ended up taking one of Deb's paintings and covering up the window. From the outside, it looks like we've got another window, and the painting could easily come off the wall, finish framing around the window, and the window could be put back into use.
Right.
But right now, for us, it doesn't work for us. And here again, we got to stress that again. It's not about we think you should do what we do. It's about what is working for us. And that's what matters with us. That's what matters with you. It all depends on what works for you. The only reason why we show these little things that we're doing, because there might be something here that you can use in your build. Not that you have to do it like we do.
We steal from other people.
Oh, yeah. We're stealing a bunch of stuff from several folks that we did walkthroughs on, which has been real helpful for us. So let's get back to the steps. Why do we have the steps on either side? Well, folks, think about it for a minute. The bed frame itself is probably going to be close to 20 inches high. We're going to be using a 12-inch thick memory foam mattress on top. That's 32 inches off of the floor. Okay? My feet won't touch the ground 32 inches off the floor. Even though I'm 6'3" tall, when I'm sitting on the bed going to put my shoes on, and I like to have my shoes on a floor when I'm putting them on, my feet won't touch the ground. They won't touch the floor. So why not have steps there? And boy, oh boy, here we go again on the steps. I was corrected so many times because I said in the previous video that a standard tread height is roughly around 9 inches. Man, I got corrected on that. Let us remind you, folks, we do not script anything. We talk on the fly, okay? And I try to go through when I'm editing and edit out what I call the triggers that will trigger someone to come in and jump in and try to tell me how stupid I am. But anyway, I missed that one. So the steps will be somewhere between 6 to 8 inches high. And that will give, enough room where our feet will touch the floor when we're sitting on our mattress. And in addition to that, I've got to get my power is going to be coming in on the driver's side of the trailer. I've got to figure out a way, because I will have receptacles and everything on the opposite side of the trailer too. And I wanted to figure out an easy way to get power across to the other side of the trailer without having to take it all the way around and come back up, whether across the back or across the front. So these steps will also serve as perfect chaseways for wiring and things like that. Who knows? I might even be able to mount the water pump in there where I can get to it real easily. There's all kinds of possibilities of what these steps can be utilized for, the area underneath them. And then we'll have a small landing, of course, that comes across. And there's reasons for that as well, because, we've got a fender well over here that we're going to have to deal with as well. But
an ankle buster.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
So, and here again, it's just more storage right there. Now, also, for those that haven't caught it yet, the water tanks being under the bed being where it is, that means that the water tanks, the heaviest items, even my battery bank will be down at the foot of the bed, and we will have 570 amp hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries in this thing, because I accidentally said ion, and I got corrected for that. So iron phosphate, lithium iron phosphate battery bank, and it will be at the underneath the foot of the bed. And yes, it will be ventilated all the way around. And yes, the ventilation all the way around will also be there to help with heating and cooling, so that warm air can circulate and cold temperatures.
Slanted in a way that Delilah won't get in there.
Exactly. We'll make sure that Delilah can't get into it.
She can get in the smallest spaces.
Believe me, folks, we're trying to cover all the bases. We're trying to cover all the bases here. So Now, moving on. Now, also, what you can't see, since there's a wall cutaway right here and the wall's not there, at the end of each of these steps, when they get to the passenger side of the trailer, there will be a column, the same width of the steps, that runs up to the ceiling on both sides. Shallow. It will be a shallow column. Even after we clear the fender well, walking in front of the bed, we're still going to have, because we're going to have the mattress cantilever 6 inches over the bed frame, we will still have 16 inches of foot space to walk around the foot of the bed, even with the fender well there.
And the only time you walk around the foot of the bed will be night.
Yeah.
Or inclement weather.
And that's another thing we can talk about right quick.
That's why we have the 2 doors.
Exactly. That's why we have 2 doors. You see 2 side doors, one on either side of the bed, basically. And there's no door at the back. And that's something else we need to mention right quick, because someone told us that walking over those steps at night would be a problem.
Well,
anyone that stays out in an RV, anyone that stays in an RV, whether it be for a 2-week period, a weekend period, or full time, anytime you walk in and out of your RV, you are walking up and down steps.
keeps me from joining a gym.
Full timing in an RV, cargo trailer, whatever. Steps is a way of life every single day. Okay, now let's move on to something else though. Inside, lights out, dark. We are also along the risers of these steps on both sides. That they're not expensive. We're getting these from Amazon, but we are installing 12-volt LED motion sensor stair tread lights that will light up when we have to get up in the middle of the night to walk across to the other side. So
and the worst thing that happens is Delilah will set them off as well.
Yeah.
But hey, when she hops up and down, you hear her.
Well, it's not like they're going to light up the whole trailer, and you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and start looking at your phone, and it lights up the whole trailer.
So there you are.
And I sleep through that, so big deal. So, folks, when you're living in an RV, cargo trailer, or whatever, schoolie, doesn't matter. Steps are a way of life. You don't walk into these things on the ground floor.
No.
Nope. You walk in and out of steps every single day. Every single day. Whether you're 15 years old, 25 years old, 50 years old, or 70 years old.
Or 90.
Or 90. That's right. So, moving on. Let's go on past up towards the front. And of course, on this wall that you can't see that's not there, there will be storage up high like you see on the opposite side to there as well. So we're going to have ample storage as well. And you also see where we're going to have a couch there, exact size of that. We'll probably end up building something, but there will be a type of couch right there. And then we move on into the kitchen area, which circles around. The big box you see on the lower right-hand corner, of course, is where the refrigerator will go. And it is going to be red as well, and it's going to be what they call the retro look.
Here again, it's on my Amazon wish, so you can see what we're looking at.
And we've already purchased the
microwave.
The microwave. Yeah, and our refrigerator will match, as well as some other appliances.
The toaster oven.
Right. So anyway, that's how that will be. Now you see some windows, and the exact placement of the windows are still yet to be determined. The ones you see at the front are pretty sure are going to be pretty much the way it is. And if you also look back at the bathroom, you will see there's a window above the potty back there, and that's pretty close to where that one will end up being. We're also looking at putting some windows in the nose itself.
Yes, but the more we look at other trailers that have that, it's like, yeah, we do want that. But
yeah.
We'll see how that works out.
Sure. Yeah, it's not set in stone on that.
It all depends upon the placement of the metal studs.
Right. Where they end up, because the windows we're getting are going to fit in between the metal studs, so we don't have to cut any studs.
Right.
Now, something else that you can't see in this, of course, we'll have 2 vents in the ceiling. The one at the back will be offset where it's, just imagine going straight up above the vanity, and that's where that will be. So it'll be the one that actually has a fan in it, and it'll be a max air fan. And of course we're offset. We had them build in the spot for it where it's offset, so that we won't have the obstruction of that partition wall to get in the way. And we also have a vent going in the roof up towards the front of the trailer, about where the end of the couch is, directly above there in the center. Now, Max Air, we're going with Max Air on that too, but it's not going to be a powered vent. It's going to be just a regular vent that you open and close. Max Air has recently come out with a non-powered vent. It's just simply a vent, but it's made exactly the way the Max Air powered vent is, in the fact that you can open and close it in the rain or whatever, and it doesn't rain inside. So we're going to have that one in the front, non-powered. The main vent that will be drawing air, the powered vent, of course, will be at the back, where it would draw air through that way, which means, of course, it would draw it basically across the bed, when we're in bed or whatever.
Right.
And then, of course, we still have the windows as well.
Well, you crack one of those windows and draw that in, and whoop.
Oh, wow. We have a Max Air fan in this one, and
we love it.
Oh, man, we cannot get over. We can open a window in the kitchen and turn on that Max Air fan, and you can be sitting in front of the window, and it feels like you've got a pretty stout fan blowing right in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, because it really draws the air. So there will be some windows there, possibly in other places that you don't see, and we will determine that when we get down closer to it. The neat thing about it is the way these windows are designed that we're getting, we can install them pretty much any time. And they're all going to be the same size. I'm going to make a standard pattern. I'm going to incorporate in the initial build when I'm framing everything out, so it'll be real easy to add windows if I want to later. So it's not going to be a problem. Also, what we did on this trailer, which you can't see here, is when we ordered the trailer, most 8.5 by 20, anything 8.5 wide, I should say, they usually have a footwell at the door, which drops down about 6 inches, and then you step up into the footwell and then step up into the trailer. We eliminated those in favor of going with some taller steps on the outside, because that would give us more usable floor space on the inside. And another thing that we did, we had them raise the doors 1.25 inches off of the floor, because we're going to insulate the floor on top. I know that a lot of folks said that we should spray foam insulation under the floor or hang foam board under the floor and things like that. I prefer not to do it that way. I'm going to put foam board insulation on the inside, 3/4 inch foam board insulation.
In between furring strips.
Right, of course. Yeah, it'll all be supported.
And then plywood on top of that, and on top of that, whatever.
You'll just have to see how I do it, okay?
We will do it step by step.
Yeah. And anyway, I can't think of anything else to mention here. Can you, dear?
No. We will keep you all posted as we go. We've had several people express an interest. We've had some gift cards come into Amazon, as well as other people wanting our Amazon wish list, which we will post as well. We really appreciate
we can't tell you how much we appreciate all
the interest and the gift cards. Mm-hmm. And in view of that,
mm-hmm.
As you all know, or a lot of you know, some of you are new and don't know, I do paintings, and I have sold a few and given a few away as gifts, and we are going to, I was counting the ones I have completed right now, and I think I have 10 completed, and we are going to go ahead and sell those.
Right.
All for the building fund.
Right. All goes into the building fund, and we're going to scroll them at the end of this video, so you'll be able to look at each one of them, and they'll be numbered. And then, of course, we'll post our email address so that you can email us if you have an interest in any of the paintings. And we're going to price them at $110 each.
And that includes shipping.
And that includes shipping anywhere in the continental United States.
Oh, and the size of them, they are 11 by 14.
Yeah.
Unframed, of course.
So maybe you're looking at those right. Yeah. Well, I know you are. You're looking at them right now. Looking at them, but they're numbered.
Yes.
So all you have to do, if you see one that you like, you can go back and reference it again. If you see one that you like, email us at iridetinyhouse@gmail.com.
Right.
iridetinyhouse@gmail.com. And we'll have that in the description as well, so you can contact us that way, and we'll get all the information and arrange to get one sent to you.
Right.
Anything else before we go?
No, I don't think so. Not on this one. We're anxiously awaiting our trailer so we can get started.
Right.
We really appreciate y'all joining us, and we've got over 13,000
13.5, over 13,500 subscribers now.
subscribers, which just blows our mind. Thank
Yeah.
you very, very much. We've got the rendezvous coming up, so we got a lot going on.
Yeah. And, you know, we never asked, please subscribe or anything like that, or click the bell and all that stuff. We figure if you want to see
you
what
will.
you will. And we don't consider, really, we use the term subscribe because that's a standard term, but really what you're doing when you do subscribe is you're joining the Tiny House family.
Right.
And we consider everyone as being the Tiny House family.
We're on an
So,
adventure.
We're on an adventure, and we'd love to take you guys along as well and encourage you to get out and do some adventuring.
Yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And like we always say, this is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures, and we are not camping.
We're living.
Absolutely. You guys get out there and do some living yourself. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.